Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next 2 hours, along with Nick.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. And Mike is here.
Well, you don't have to stutter on it.
Well, I'm doing something else.
Don't let us distract you.
And Spence is here. Morning,
I am?
Spence. Hey. And
Okay.
Steve is here. Let's see if we can see you now. Well,
Welcome. No, you won't be able to. I don't know
nope,
why,
that's
but
okay.
it's not.
That's all right.
Amnon, it's one good thing is you've got only two hands.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
If you had three, it'd screw
Otherwise,
it up
I'll be
50% faster.
Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is being brought to you by Adamas.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters. And the broadcast is made possible by Telestream Wirecast software. All right. We're done with that.
Did you notice how the muting and microphone controls on the Hangout now will disappear if you move off of them?
It
They
used
don't
to
just
be,
stay up there
it
on
was,
the screen?
It was the same before.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah,
tell me if
that's the one good thing about this is now when I move in, oh, they still show. Yeah, I thought they would be at the bottom.
oh, tell
Never
me
mind.
if the sound for me goes away when I mute the microphone and not the Hangout.
It did. I know, but you need. Oh yeah, it's gone. I think it's like Mike said. It's when you talk, you open the gate, whatever Skype has, and that's when the noise comes in, right, Mike?
No, it's all the time. There's no gate.
Well, there's no
Because
gate.
it's just so much easier
Well,
for me if I can mute using the
Now
button
you
on
have
my
a
headset.
now you have a hum.
That's probably because you're holding the switch.
My gosh, I need to ground myself here. This is terrible.
Well,
Just I'm actually in New York on Long Island, and I have sitting at a
that's
desk.
what it is. It's
That's
the water.
the Long Island hum.
It's
Yeah.
the water in Long Island.
Yeah, that's it.
Is there a possibility that you can screw a wire into your leg?
I could tap into one of my bones here or something.
And
I could
ground
just,
it.
that's right. I could lick an outlet with my tongue. Maybe that would help.
Please don't do that on camera.
No.
So what's going on, guys?
A couple of days of frustration for me, but I'm fine otherwise.
Frustration as in?
As in, I've got a new TV and it's got a mirroring feature on it, and I've got the Surface tablet. And the first time I tried it, I thought, well, this won't work, but I'll try it. And it was brilliant. Within seconds, my desktop showed up on the big screen. And I was like, wow, this will be amazing for Computers 2K Now on Sunday. But ever since, and I've tried dozens of times, it hasn't worked. It won't connect to the television. So I've been very frustrated.
Did the
Other than that, I'm
TV
fine.
drop off your Wi-Fi network?
No, the TV's there. It comes up in the list, and I tap. In fact, my neighbour's TV comes up in the list as well. But I tap it, and it says connecting, and little dots go across the screen, and occasionally a little progress sort of squirrel comes up, and then it just says enable to connect.
Do you realize the fun you could have with that, right? With your neighbor's TV?
Yeah, I mean, they'll have to click OK in order to access it first, but then they'll be able to see whatever I'm looking at.
And maybe you guys should swap TVs.
Yeah, that could be why. Well, no, theirs is only 32-inch. Mine's much bigger than that.
Oh. Size doesn't matter.
Size doesn't matter. Yeah, beat me to it.
Yeah, but it's what you do with it that counts.
Yeah.
Anyway, that killed that conversation. Carry on, everybody.
So, Mike, did you? Oh, well, you already have a terabyte, and nobody else here has UVerse. I got an
Terabyte.
terabyte cap.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, the UVerse gigabit has a terabyte cap.
Not anymore.
What does it have now?
There, it's unlimited starting August 28th.
21st.
whatever.
Are you sure it's going to be? The way that I read it, it's just for 1 month.
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
What?
Yeah.
What's the point of that?
They said that they're going to raise the caps of like my Uverse, the one up to 75, because they have up to 75 megabits, and then it goes to gigabit. They don't have anything in between. Before, these lower tiers had a 600 meg cap.
Gig.
I got gig cap. So I got an email that said that as of the 21st, they're going to raise it to a terabyte. And it seems like they were listing and they were saying that there is a 1 month grace period if you go over the gig,
That was before.
over the terabyte. I'm sorry.
That was before. That if you went over your previous allowance, they had 1 month that they would warn you before they charged you.
That was the email I just got.
Mine says we have some good news. AT&T Gigapower high-speed internet 1 gigabit per second accounts will have an unlimited data allowance as of August 21st, so you can access as much information, entertainment, and content as your lousy connection will support. Well, I
Okay,
added
that's a different email because
I added that.
All right. So,
Amnon, you don't have Gigapower
no,
service.
I
You
don't.
have
This is
Uverse service.
addressing the gigabit.
all right,
the
so I'm gonna
Gigapower.
let me finish reading this.
Yeah.
If you previously purchased the unlimited internet data option separately for $30 per month,
Right.
we'll automatically remove it from your account by August 31st and credit you for the past charges. You should see the credit on your bill within 1 to 2 billing cycles after that date.
That's cool.
Isn't competition a wonderful thing?
I don't know. I did some research on Google, and I don't believe they're going to be around forever.
Competition is good. It's great here in the UK. We wouldn't have the kind of
so-
prices we have if it wasn't for competition.
The one that I got said that they will, if you purchase the $30, they're gonna take it away. They're gonna remove it. I didn't see anything about returning the charges,
No.
and that for 1 month they will have. If you go over the terabyte, they will not charge you. But after that, if you go over terabyte, they will charge you.
Right. If you
$10.
exceed your new
Yeah,
allocation.
Yeah, correct. And
Sure.
yep, and that was interesting. I'm still saying it's because they found out that it's hell to meter and do all these things when they don't know how to do it.
I don't understand how it can possibly be hell to meter data.
It's already there. The system's already. It's built into the.
For
What do you call it? The telemetry of every system has the ability to do that. It's just how do you bill it?
Well,
That's all.
that's the thing.
It's there.
For as long as I've been on the show, we've talked about,
Right.
how people can't track data. That seems
Right.
like that's the most fundamental thing ever. is
you would
tracking.
think. You would think. I agree.
There's got to be. I still believe there's got to be some underlying reason. It's not that they can't track it or that it's hell to track it. There's got to be some major
You
issue
have-
that is causing them not to be able to do it.
It could be their back end systems just don't work easily with the data. That's possible
No,
too.
no,
Their
no,
billing system may
no,
not allow it.
Spence, the statistics are there.
Yeah. Oh,
but
absolutely.
you still have to have programming to take that and massage it and do everything
That's what I
with
said.
it.
Their back end office systems
Right.
that do the billing may not work well with the statistic database.
Exactly. I mean, they said it right out in the beginning of Uverse that you have a limit of 300 gig, but they could never enforce it because they couldn't. Yet they could tell you and send you an email when you are reaching it, or so they said. I don't know anybody that actually got an email that said you're reaching. Maybe it did work, but it's a whole lot easier without it. Less
If you-
resources.
if you've never worked for a really big company, you won't understand how that's possible. But if you have worked for very large companies like I have, IBM, Nortel, and other places like that, this is just the way it works. They'll build entire systems and spend millions of dollars on something, and somebody forgets, oh yeah, it was supposed to do this too.
Yeah.
Crap, we have to start over. So that's the marketing department not talking to the people who actually execute.
All right, I'm looking at the monthly data allowance by speed tier that's posted on ATT.com. DSL is limited to 150 gigabytes. Everything except UVerse 1 gig is 1 terabyte, and 1 gig is unlimited. And that's as of August 21st.
Okay. All right. So so that's definitely the way it is.
DSL is unchanged.
Yeah, DSL. I mean, come on. You couldn't rack up terabyte.
I don't know. You haven't seen
I
my
mean,
kids.
if you stay on it the whole time.
You could if you were using torrents.
I don't even know. That seems like it's impossible, but
How's my audio now?
fine.
Because I disconnected the power supply. I'll go as long as I can. I think I should be able to get 2 hours out of the battery pack.
Sounds good.
Cross fingers. All right. Did you guys ever kind of felt funny going into a store and using the credit cards that have a chip in them, and oh no, put it this way, no, you can't swipe it, and it's almost to the point of, come on, what am I supposed to do?
In the beginning, it was that way. I have a chip, and I've been using it for almost a year. And it's the places that I use it frequently have worked it out. Like Lowe's is where I make the most credit card transactions of any place at Lowe's, and I use the chip all the time.
Well,
and in the beginning it was slow. Now it's fast.
Well, they're saying that it's still slow, and it goes over the last year or so. In the U.S., a lot of plastic credit cards we carry around every day have been replaced by new ones with chips embedded in them. The chips are supposed to make your credit card or debit card more secure, a good thing. But there's one little secret no one wants to admit. The U.S.'s transition to chip cards has been an utter disaster. They are confusing to use, painstakingly slow, less secure than the alternatives, and aren't even the best solution for consumers. If you shop in a store and use a credit card, you've noticed the change. Retailers have likely asked you to insert the chip into the card reader instead of swiping. But reading the chip seems to take much longer than just swiping, and it does. But reading the chip seems to take, on top of that, even though many retailers now have chip reading machines, some of them ask us just the opposite. They say not to insert the card and just swipe it. It seems like there is no rhyme or reasons to the whole thing.
From my experience, it seems as though it's the smaller retailers that have individual readers or just a few readers in their store that are having the real slow issue now. In the beginning, the large big box stores, when they rolled it out, had a problem the first couple of months, but it's been working better.
The problem is how we used to use that, in my opinion, because
yes,
I go to Home Depot, and you swipe it and nothing is happening, and then you look and it says, or somebody will come over and say you have to insert the chip. So you put it in and you pull it out. No. You have to leave it in until it tells you to pull it out. You see, it's a matter of how you used to use the thing.
Yeah, but so you have to adapt. That's all you're saying.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I agree. You have to adapt and you have to get used to it. And apparently, when you are in a line and you do it and it doesn't work, the retailer sees longer lines because it's not a bang, 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 bang. It's so maybe that they say swipe, but I didn't think that swiping will actually work.
If it's chip enabled and their reader is chip enabled, you cannot swipe.
Yeah. So I don't know.
And the what's missing from this is the second part of the whole chip security regimen is you're supposed to have a PIN number, which they have not implemented. That's the problem. That's why it's not more secure. You can still steal that card. You cannot clone the card with the chip. That's an advantage. So someone can't take your number and make a new card. But if they steal your card, physical card, they can use it. We need to implement PIN numbers.
Yeah,
that's what's
PIN
missing.
numbers,
That's the second half of the authentication.
PIN numbers are useless. You can break them in less than 5 seconds because they still limit them to 4 digits.
Yes. Well, that's the other part of the system is they have to expand the PIN number to be more comprehensive. Go think about the lines then when somebody comes into a store and has to get out their PIN number that's written on a piece of paper in their wallet.
True.
Try so they can make the transaction. We need to have biometric. Biometric will fix it.
It will, but it won't.
Huge expense.
That's coming in 2030.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Nick?
I said it will, but it won't. There's, there'll be issues with it. You'll be able to clone stuff with that. I mean, there's never going to be.
Cut off somebody's finger and take it with you.
Yeah, what movie was that?
Yeah.
One of the Terminators or something.
The James Bond movie. They took the guy's eyeball.
Yeah, that was it. The James Bond movie. Yeah, they took his eyeball and used it too.
Oh, I'd like to buy this now, but let me hold my spare eyeball on a stick here up to the reader.
Oh boy.
No, I don't have any issues with the chip. I've not experienced any of these issues that you're talking about, Amnon. I mean,
how long ago did you start using it?
I don't know, probably a year, like Spencer.
Yeah. I have not, and there's only one place. I'm seeing it more, but I'm not used to it, and it's not all the cards. That's the other thing. It's some of the cards have the chip, some don't. So
you still have cards that don't have the chip?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The rollout was the credit card companies had required it.
Yes.
They had to waive it because there was so many technology issues.
Oh yeah, I thought that needed to be done like 6 months ago. Everybody needed to have their cards.
It's still out there.
Yeah, that's what they said, that the transition to the chip cards has been an utter, what they use, disaster. It's not being implemented as fast as they want. Now, if everything was like this, then fine. If you don't have even the swipe mechanism there, automatically you will insert it. And the funny thing is, here again is something weird. How do you insert? Don't you? How was it? Oh no, you insert it the same way. It's not width-wise, right?
No, it's just
it's lengthwise. It seems like it was funny because maybe it's because of the way that you swipe. I don't know. I mean, I was putting it and I said, oh, it won't fit. Wait, okay, the other way. And Nick, you're right. It's a matter of adapting and getting used to doing it.
But I mean, it in terms of that versus swiping, it's way better than swiping.
One of the bad experiences I had in the beginning was, I don't remember which grocery store it was, but when you used the chip and it got to the point where it told you to remove the card, it would make this really loud screeching warble warning sound like that, and it was like, what the hell is that noise? It was loud.
What did I do?
Yeah, what did I do wrong? Did I, is there a security net going to fall on me or something here? And all it was a reminder to remove your card from the
our grocery store still does that, and it's fine. I mean, you put it in there, and when it starts beeping like that, you know to take it out. I think
this was not a subtle beep that you say, oh, okay.
Oh, no, this isn't a subtle beep either. This is like a fire alarm going off.
Yeah, but it's loud.
You know to take your card out, but at least you insert the chip. I've never had to reinsert the chip. I insert it and it works. Swipe again. It didn't go through. One more time. Just swipe one more time.
The only time I had an issue is if I put the card in there before the transaction is ready. Some of the systems will not allow you to put the card in there until the register tells you it's okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But that's a programming glitch on their side.
But I've never had to reinsert the card, which is nice, because there's been times where you have to swipe 3 or 4 times because the reader just doesn't read the card. So at least you don't have to deal with that anymore.
Do you use Apple Pay, Nick?
I used it at Subway once. And then I reset my phone, and I have yet to re-add it. Because you got to call your bank and tell them to confirm it. It's a real pain to set up.
Yeah, I just got a notice from my bank saying that they are, it's not just on trial anymore. They're fully supporting it, so I might actually do it.
Yeah, I don't remember. There's a weird way to get to it. It's like you don't double tap the home button. You like double tap and hold it. Every time I try, I accidentally open up Apple Pay all the time, but every time I need to open it, I can't. So.
Can you authenticate with something? Obviously, it's got to work with something other than your thumb.
No,
Right.
it uses your thumb. You're required to use your thumb.
Then I know. So then, in my case, I work all day with paints and caulks and stuff, and sometimes my fingerprint gets altered because I have residue on it, so my thumbprint won't work.
No, and if you don't have a thumbprint, you have to have one if you set up Apple Pay. It requires you to set one up.
Maybe I'll have my big toe as a print then.
Yeah, there you go.
Just take my shoe off. Excuse me, I have to put my foot up on the counter. Okay.
I bet you could use your elbow or something.
Hey, Steve, were you trying to say something?
I wasn't, but I mean, as who was it said in the chat just now? Alan said in the chat. By the way, the chat is at Computers 2K now, and click on the left for Watch Live, and then you'll have a chat interface that you can come and chat with us as well. Alan was saying that chip and pin has been here in the UK for many years, and it sounds like you're going through all the teething troubles that we had initially. Once the banks are up to speed and the shops are up to speed, and you're more knowledgeable about it, it is the simplest way of shopping or making any transaction. It's just like a streamlined process. You slot your card in, the cashier hits the button on the thing, and it says, please enter PIN. You check the amount, enter the PIN, it goes beep, and then you take the card out, and it's done. It's a matter of seconds. Really is brilliant.
A lot of people here don't use it as a debit card because they don't remember their PIN. So they use the card as a credit.
Yeah, that is a problem. I mean, it's both for credit and debit cards.
Yeah.
You just have to remember 4-digit PIN, that's all.
Oh.
Most people write it down on the back of their hand or have it tattooed somewhere.
Steve, I remember going to Europe back in the mid 90s and going to a restaurant, and they would actually have the wireless credit card reader. They'd carry it out to your table and they'd swipe it right there and print the receipt and you'd sign it. And that was obviously running on GSM, I guess, back then.
Yeah.
But I thought that was the coolest thing, and we still don't see that here. Everybody walks back to the back of the restaurant to swipe your card, which is another security breach.
Yeah. Even small shops now will have a wireless card reader and can actually punch it in, and it's just a rechargeable device that they plug in. Some of the big supermarkets, they're actually sort of molded into the actual checkout itself, and you can see a cable coming out of it. But there's an awful lot of retailers, including small ones, one-man bands, that will have a cordless reader.
Well, the good thing is with Square and all of that stuff now, the Squares are normally just hooked up to iPads or iPhones, so those are effectively a wireless reader.
Yeah.
iPad or a phone.
Ideally, you're self-employed.
I use Square, but I just have the reader. I don't have to buy their chip reader is it's maybe $150, whereas the regular swiper is only $9.95, and usually they waive that.
Yeah.
So.
I used when I was away for a few days last week, and a lot of the little stores on the boardwalk I used probably 5 Square devices throughout the week, and all of them were on iPads, hooked up to little cash register thing. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, it's cool. They have a special adapter to snap the iPad into at the register, so it swivels around so you can sign. And yeah, nice stuff. They do a good job.
Sure as hell beats using buying a real credit card processing machine.
Yep.
So
the only criticism I've heard of Square is that if you are a mid-tier user, they have algorithms that will contest charges, even though they have no evidence that person is a deadbeat. They will use some algorithm to predict a person that something should be disputed, and they will automatically dispute it at some point, creating the onus on you to prove that it is in fact legitimate. This is a criticism that they had of them. So
It makes its own decisions.
I understand why they're doing it, but it's
I don't know.
not it's until they figure it's a growing pain they
all
have.
right. Next, who tried to upgrade their Windows 10 after the 29th?
Me,
And did it work?
yeah.
So the
I have the anniversary update.
no. That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant. Okay.
No, not updating, upgrading.
No, I did not.
Well, apparently, the Register is reporting that the Windows 10 upgrades is still free for Windows 7 or 8.1 users. Microsoft has previously said that those who use assistive technologies would continue to be eligible after the July 29th deadline had passed. And the writer said that he pointed in a story last month that Microsoft hadn't figured out yet how they would be able to tell who would be eligible. Looks like they never did figure that one out, they're reporting. Microsoft year-long Windows 10 free upgrade offer ended over the weekend, last weekend. But it's still possible to secure Redmond's finest, even the new anniversary update, for the low price of $0 in whatever currency you prefer. The free upgrade is reserved for those who use assistive technologies, the many features that magnify text, offer text-to-speech, or otherwise assist those who don't see or hear with the perfect acuity. But the Register browsed the site and found no checks before downloading it. Looks like it's open to anyone. So I'm wondering if there's anybody in the chat that actually tried to do an upgrade from 7 or 8 to 10, and it actually told them, no, you can't do it. Because apparently they don't know how to limit it to those people that use these assistive.
I think I read that article, and as far as I know, there's a specific link to go to if you want the assistive upgrade. If you try and do it on the normal Windows 10 root for the average user,
Yeah.
I don't know what would happen. But in that article, I seem to remember reading that there was an assistive link, if you see what I mean. It wasn't just Microsoft.com download. It was Microsoft.com assistive download. Something I can't remember the exact address, but it was in that article somewhere. Excuse my throat.
Yeah, I did not go any farther into it, but I'm just wondering if you just tell them, yeah, I'm blind.
Yeah, I need assistance.
Yeah, it's interesting to find. It'll be interesting to find out. And talking about the anniversary update, it may affect, and listen to it close, those of you that did that, may affect even delete other partitions on the same disk. OMG Ubuntu is reporting, citing several complaints by users, broken bootloaders on an update are one thing, but losing data, even entire partitions. And there's Microsoft. Apparently, it's deleting dual boot loaders. So if you had like Windows 7 and Windows 10, or Linux and Windows 10, and the primary one is Windows, it messes up. Many users are reporting that some of their partitions disappeared after installing the anniversary update. Usually it's the smallest partition that disappears, although we couldn't say for sure whether the partition is deleted or if Windows simply doesn't detect it. Some users are saying that the partition is not allocated, while others can detect it once they install third-party partition management applications.
It's just a coincidence.
You think?
Yeah, it's just like the $400 million and the hostages being released at the same moment is a coincidence. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, right. It's just a coincidence.
It's a coincidence. Nothing to see here.
Yeah. Well, so it's
I,
it's. Go ahead.
I was saying that I ran into an issue with Classic Shell after getting the anniversary update.
Right.
It did change. You have to go back through part of the Windows 10 startup experience, although it does not ask you to go through and select settings this time, like some of the other updates did. But Classic Shell broke. It came back and said this version of Classic Shell is not supported by, and it's sure enough, I had the 4.22 version, and the 4.3 version is the one that's out there for Windows 10. But when I went to install it, thank goodness it was a day after this happened. The Classic Shell download service was hacked, and for a few hours, the Classic Shell .exe installer was corrupted. Some hacker put a version out there that would blue screen your machine when you restarted the machine. He does have information on his site on how to repair the machine, and a lot of people went through this who have advice there. But it is safe to download now. Always check that the version of software is good.
But question, is the new version actually says that it is for Windows 10 anniversary?
Yes.
Okay, so there
Yes,
was
he did intentionally, he had access to it early, so he had Windows, the 4.3 version was already up there a week before anniversary became available. But I mean, what a way to take this guy who does a great job and just completely blow his credibility up by hacking his installer.
Oh.
It's a shame. But it is working. I have it installed on my FX machine at home.
Going back to what you said, Amnon, Wiggs is saying in the chat, I tried to upgrade to 10 using the certificate of authentication on the side of an HP. It wouldn't work. And he's asking, anyone tried to create a Windows 7 Service Pack 2 install DVD using slipstreaming? I haven't.
I didn't, but what I did do is I downloaded their, what did they call it? Something roll-up. I can't remember. They have something on their site, on Microsoft site, that is all the updates. Yeah. Since Service Pack 1 that you can install. Convenient rollup, convenience rollup, or convenient rollup, something like that.
Convenience pack, I think it was called, yeah. There's a 64 and a 32-bit version. I downloaded both. Correct.
And it works, but it's not a complete Windows 7 with everything like I had in mind, or like Wiggs has in mind, probably.
It saves an awful lot of time.
Yeah.
Well, basically, it saves you a day. Because I spent a whole day upgrading it. I think it was something like 95 updates that were needed, and on my slow internet speed, it was just laborious.
So he's saying that he couldn't, yet Anders saying they still accept old license numbers. That's the second way to update to 10. So does it work or doesn't it work? I don't know.
Maybe for some and not for others, but I suppose it depends where you are.
Interesting.
Interesting that Spence mentioned Classic Shell. I actually removed Classic Shell and I'm on Windows 10 native now. And I quite like it. Now I've got used to it.
Yeah, it did. It removed it.
Yeah, I have no problem with it either, Steve.
I quite like it now. Now that I've got used to where everything is and used to the little shortcuts and keyboard shortcuts and things to get to what I want, it's good. I like it. It's nice.
I mean, to me, it works the same way as it was with Windows 7. I mean, it looks a little different, but it works the same way. The start button in Windows 10.
Yeah, it's very, very similar to Windows 7. It has some apps that you can put on it, but other than that, which most people turn off. But other than that, it works perfectly.
One thing I noticed today, if you switch between tablet mode and desktop mode, some users have been complaining about 10 if they've got a tablet, is that you can't get to the desktop easily. Well, they've put some updates in since the preview version. So if you swipe in from the right, you can actually turn tablet mode on or off on one of the little tiles that comes up on that right side of the screen, which is useful. But one suggestion that somebody said is, well, open File Explorer and go to desktop in File Explorer, which isn't ideal, to be honest, because File Explorer is quite small if you've got a high resolution tablet, and then go to desktop there. But one thing I noticed in trying that, in trying to figure out how to get into desktop mode, was that not all of the icons on the desktop show in desktop, if that makes sense. I've got another 4 icons which weren't actually showing up. Although they're on my desktop, they didn't show up in the desktop folder.
Yeah, the swipe in that you mentioned, Steve, is very handy because it's got buttons there for all settings, Wi-Fi, brightness, Bluetooth, location, airplane mode are all right there on that swipe in screen on the right.
That was my pick for the day, by the way,
Yeah.
Nick.
What?
That was my pick for the day, by the way.
Are you gonna do it again at the end or no?
Absolutely.
Okay, then yeah, then I'll mark it down then. I don't have my email open, so.
Okay. Oh, Nick, I forgot to ask you. Did you do the specials?
No, I got home
Okay,
late. I didn't
that's
have it.
Oh, I did it, Amnon. I sent it to you.
What do you mean? What do you mean you did it?
I did. I
asked
sent
you.
it. I sent it at 8:30 this morning.
You're just a hero, Spence.
Yeah, I did. It's an abbreviated one-page version, but I did it.
All right. Okay.
Spence, we are not worthy.
Oh boy, a couple of cups of coffee and I can do anything in the morning. Don't trust it unless there's coffee involved.
So I've actually got a. So last week I was talking about my me needing to clone my SSD to a new SSD to expand my drive size, and I was looking for an app or a program or whatever to do that. And I tried. Mike, what's the first one I tried?
First what?
The cloning the SSD. What was the one that you and I tried?
Terabyte Unlimited.
Tried Terabyte Unlimited. Mike walked me through the process of it, and it booted up to the drive once. And I believe it loaded in. And after that, I shut it down and then tried rebooting it, and it told me that there was some Windows file that was missing, and it just didn't work. I tried a bunch of different things, and I just couldn't get that to work. So I tried that program that Steve, you recommended. This was, and this is going to be my pick as well. This is the EOMI Partition Assistant, and this thing worked flawlessly. Took like 15 minutes, super easy, built-in wizard to get it copied over. It even expanded the partition size to fill up the rest of the SSD. I still have my recovery partition as well. So, yeah, that was my experience after last week's show, getting that all set up. But it totally worked, and now I'm running on a 250 gig SSD instead of a 120. So
cool.
There you go.
And it was okay moving from was it SSD to SSD, or was it hard drive to SSD? Oh, okay. So smaller to larger.
Yeah, which worked fine. I really didn't have any issue with it, which was nice.
Yeah. So I downloaded that program, and it's really nice.
Super easy.
Not all of the partitioning programs have a clone feature, so certainly the free ones don't, but the AOMI seems to work quite well.
Yeah, and kind of the issue I was running into was some of these other partition managers, they're not, if you've used them before, like Mike's used that, the Terabyte Unlimited a bunch, he knows how to use that.
Familiar with it, yeah.
Exactly, but me, I go in there, I've never used that software before, and I press something wrong and I end up wiping the wrong drive or something like that. So, but with this AOMI, it's almost impossible to accidentally wipe or destroy the wrong drive. It's very, very simple to use. It tells you that each drive's name, it tells you how much storage is on each drive, and it tells you, what drive it is. It'll say SanDisk SSD or Corsair SSD.
And you can physically see that one drive hasn't been formatted yet, and it hasn't got partitions on, so you can't make a mistake.
Exactly. And then even after that, it doesn't just go when you click done. You have to set up the thing, and then you actually click apply, and it will actually boot down the computer and redo it. So you can double check, triple check, quadruple check yourself before you actually apply it. But
yeah,
it worked.
When it reboots, it's at that time you think, please let me have clicked the right one.
Yeah. No, there was no. I had no, because it showed the name, the actual manufacturers. I knew my new drive was my Corsair, so I needed to clone my SanDisk to my Corsair. And
yeah, I had a problem with mine where I had two OCZ drives or OCZ drives, and then they had like not the serial number, but the model number, and one was 240 and one was 120, so you could tell the difference. But if it just brought up OCZ, you would think, well, I don't know which one's which.
Yeah.
Ideal if you've got two different makes.
Definitely. So yeah, that was my experience this week. I'll talk about it. I'll talk about the program a little bit more during picks.
All right, so Mike, you like terabytes program, and you got SSDs for a long time.
I have.
Did you have problem?
No.
I don't know what my issue was. Mike walked me through it on the phone of all the steps, so I believe I clicked everything right. I bet you if I did it again, it probably would have worked. But
maybe not. No system is 100% compatible with every hardware combination.
Yeah. So but Terabyte Unlimited, once I actually got into it, it was pretty easy to figure out. But I would assume they both work.
If there were not issues of compatibility, they wouldn't have 100 check boxes in there to try if it doesn't work the first time.
Yeah, there you go.
The single most important thing to remember about cloning software is the good old adage about trust but verify. When you think you're doing the right thing, don't just click OK and go ahead. Go back and verify that you're going from the target drive or from the source drive to the target drive that you want. And you don't just go ahead and, oops, sorry, I copied the blank partition over to my original partition.
Yep.
Yeah.
So trust but verify. Measure twice, cut once.
Yeah. And that was the nice thing with that. I mean, it makes it almost impossible for you to copy your blank to your live drive. It makes it almost, you'd have to really not be paying attention for that.
Terabyte is geeky, and I've cautioned that whenever I've been using it for many years. They went through periods of time when there were some computers it did not work with, and like any company, I guess it's a small company. It's only one guy who writes, a guy in Las Vegas, and he's got people who help him moderate the forum, and these people say, well, actually, it's not a problem here. We don't have a problem. And then mysteriously, a new version comes out and the problem goes away. When they get into all of these, okay, you need to go with a 4096 instead of 208 boundary in the geometry, and you need to do that. I'm not interested in all that. Don't want to know that much about it. You could make a career just understanding hard drive parameters, and I'm not that interested in it. I just wanted to make a copy of the drive. And they have the various tools to do it. The one thing that I do like about Terabyte, for the most part, and as soon as I say it, people groan, and that is the program that I use most is called Image for Linux. And they said, well, I've got a Windows computer. And I said, well, I've got a Mazda Tribute. But the point is that the program is on a bootable Linux disk, but it's a command line program that you look at it and you can't even tell it's Linux unless somebody tells you. It doesn't matter. It looks the same as a bootable DOS disk. But the beautiful part about it being Linux is it ignores all of Windows nonsense about locked files and all that. It allows you to just get the job done.
Are there any clone programs that actually run right from within Windows?
Yes.
Really? How does that work?
How? Which
There
one?
supposedly is a shadow copy of files that it makes a copy of unlocked files. I've actually, there's, I believe that Terabyte has one. I can't bring myself to trust it.
Yeah, I don't think I'd trust that either. I feel like, I mean, with the drive not even booted up, or with the drive booted up and running, it seems like you could very easily, something could easily go wrong.
Yeah.
Didn't the the first version of Ghost that was that ran inside of Windows, didn't that have an environment where you would set it up to make the clone and then it would reboot itself?
No, no.
Into the
That's how it still works.
Ghost.
Ghost, you go and you do everything, and when you're ready, it says, "Okay, you're ready for it," and it reboots to their own OS, so to speak.
Well, the original version of Ghost was a bootable disk that ran on some type of DOS.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Is before it was actually native inside the Windows OS. You had to boot and then select the partition from inside what was a DOS.
Yeah.
A DOS,
so now they're doing it from within Windows, and you configure what you want to back up,
right,
and it reboots and goes on, and it takes the commands that you saved in Windows.
Scary.
Well,
But
I mean,
I mean, it's good, but
all of them are like. I mean, the true image is the same way.
Yeah,
So
it boots you out, and you've got to go into like a sort of DOS or a Linux boot system, and you just got to let the system do it itself. And
Right.
It's like,
No, yeah, I didn't. Of course, it's not going to be booted into the OS, but I didn't really. It rebooted and it came back up and it said starting partition manager. Press the space bar in 10 seconds to exit or something like that if you want to quit it. So.
Go off and make a cup of coffee and keep your fingers crossed.
Literally, it was literally 8 minutes. And here's the other good thing I realized after the fact. Even if it didn't work, it's not like anything my data was gone. I just had to find new software and just re-clone it again.
Yeah.
The first time I cloned it, there was no issue. I didn't have any issues. I was just cloning from my good drive to my new one. So it didn't really touch the old drive at all.
all right. Spence, you want to do the specials?
did you move them over there?
Yeah. Let's.
They are there? Okay, let me go. I have to go find it. I wasn't on I got to refresh to find them. Give me a second. The copy I have on my local machine here, the screen is, for some reason, the resolution isn't that good. I couldn't use Snagit this morning. I just used the snip tool to cut and paste, so the resolution isn't all that hot.
Oh.
Let's see.
Nick types faster than me.
You
but
type that in?
But that's nothing new.
You type that in?
Yeah, with 2 fingers. Pick.
You don't just copy and paste, you actually type it in?
Yeah.
Why?
Paste it from where?
The link?
You see, I'm monitoring, so I can't, I don't go out of this. So it's a whole lot simpler. Just type it in. I don't know.
If you say so.
Yeah.
Open up a new tab.
Yeah, I know. I could do
Oh,
that.
my
You're
Lord,
right.
Amnon.
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Some of these things that you do amaze me beyond belief. That's crazy.
I got to tell you, my wife works in state government, and government is not.
Who pays the psychiatric bills for that?
I think she provides a lot of the counseling, but whenever they first got email up there, I mean, probably for a couple of years, she went into this particular person's office. When this representative would get an email, trying to be nice, what would happen is she had read emails with replies on it, so whenever she'd get an email and they want to reply to it, she would retype the original email and then type the reply under it.
Oh
my God.
Oh dear.
No thanks.
And Susan showed her how to hit the reply button.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That's what reply's for.
Mm.
Oh.
All right, let's see if yeah, I'm trying. Sorry, here we go. Now we've got it. Okay, so computers 2K Now special edition of August 7th, and I apologize because I'm traveling and I don't have access to my normal
Yeah,
lovely
yeah,
support
yeah,
desk there. No, I mean,
yeah,
I did a
yeah,
one
yeah.
pager this time, so it's limited, but I do have some stuff out there. So starting with Staples, we are now into full-blown back-to-school mode. So beware of the bundle where you get all kinds of useless stuff in addition to the cost of the computer, thinking, oh, this is great because had you bought this separately, it would be $900 and it's only $700. You're paying for virus protection and an extra plastic sleeve for your laptop and all this other useful crap. But pay attention when you're looking at these machines. We've got a HP Pavilion 14-inch i5 laptop for $529. That's $110 off. This is all Staples. 24-inch monitor, AOC monitor for $99, $50 off the regular price. PNY 128 gig USB 3.0 flash drive for $19.99. That's $30 off the regular price. I almost always mention a low-cost portable 1 terabyte backup drive because that's the entry point. But this is a particularly good deal. It's a Seagate Backup Plus portable drive. It's 4 terabytes for $129. We've got a HP Envy 4520 all-in-one printer. This is the entry-level Envy printer for $69.99, save $30. And Microsoft Wireless Desktop USB mouse combo for $24.99, save $15. All of that is at Staples. At Best Buy, we've got a Samsung 11.6-inch Chromebook for $199. That's $30 off. It's a Celeron processor, 4 gig of memory. 32 gig USB 2.0 flash drive SanDisk for $6.99. $6.99.
Wow.
Save $23. 32 gig. Just buy a couple of them, throw them in the drawer. Hey, it comes in handy, especially if you want to build a bootable flash drive. I always play around with that. I have the Windows installers on USB, Linux installers on USB that I can just, let me try this as a, what was that called when you you do the disk install Amnon, but you wouldn't actually install the live disk. It's like the old live disk idea where you throw the CD in there and it boots the whole OS without actually writing it to your hard disk. So it can be handy. Here is the good old 1 terabyte backup drive. This happens to be the Seagate drive, and it's $5 off the typical usual sale price, so $54.99, save $5. Epson portable wireless
Scanner.
Scanner? No, this is a printer.
Printer.
Yeah, so they're always expensive, but if you need it, gosh, you need it. If you're travel around and you do quotes or print things from your car, especially, it can be extremely handy if you're a real estate agent or a contractor or something. So this is $100 off the regular price. You're saving a third. It's $199.99. 25-inch HP LED monitor for $129.99. Wow. $100 off the regular price. And finally, a Insignia 10.1-inch tablet with 32 gig of memory, which is very good for $99. That's at Best Buy. And finally, I have a couple of things over at Newegg. Ultra portable, rechargeable, mini wireless Bluetooth keyboard for $19.99. That's $67. It used to be $59.99. It says it has a 32-foot operating range for Bluetooth. Man, that'll fry you when it's with its transmit power.
You can control your neighbor's computer.
That's it. Yeah, 32 feet. That's amazing. If you've been thinking about getting into 3D printing, here is the 3D printer for $49.99. It's $200 off the regular price. And this is for you, Amnon. This is a LED USB powered mini fridge that can hold a can of soda for you right at your desk. It's only $18.99. It's 62% off the regular price. So. And it doesn't have to be soda.
I spent $300 on mine, so I got screwed.
Hey. And you can't put the 24-ounce cans in there either. It's got to be a 12-ounce can. It looks like so. Bear that in mind when you plan this. And that's it for the abbreviated edition of specials for August 7th, 2016.
Well, thank you.
And I am in the market today. I'm up here in New York at my brother-in-law's house, and going to be replacing his 10-year-old Vista machine. Probably going to go with an all-in-one. I think that will best
So
serve
you're in the market for what?
a PC.
Oh,
Going to be looking while I'm here. We're going to go buy something.
Spence, you coming upstate at all?
Yeah, we're going to go to Binghamton.
Oh, no shit, really?
Yeah, so we're going up to the old hotel.
Cool.
The last time I flew by where you are was when we were headed up to Lake George. It was a couple years ago. But I wish I had more time. I'd stop in and bother you.
Again, I can always say, "Oh, me and Spence went out to lunch," and I can say, "Hey, Amnon,
Yeah,
and I didn't invite you."
that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the last time I was through, I actually flew into Albany, but that was before I knew you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Awful
that
airport.
was you were probably about 12. So
Awful airport.
yeah, it was to go to that same old hotel that we go to up in Deposit, and we just drove from Albany over. It was the easiest thing to do at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope it's better the airport than it was.
It's a boring drive. There's nothing in.
No, that interstate that angles down there. There's nothing. There's nothing
on it. No, it's just all farmland, trees.
hold it a second, guys. Steve, are you trying to say something?
Stevie's muted.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Oh. Every now and then it's going black, and it seems like he's trying to say something. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
Wiggs is saying 16 gig flash drives are 3 for $10
USB 2.
Where?
Probably.
in the chat.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
Wiggs,
would be good.
where are
Good
the
for
$10?
USB 3.
They're probably USB 2.
Yeah.
That's okay though. It depending on what you're using it for. So,
Yeah.
it might take you 2/3 longer to copy the files over, but yeah.
At Newegg. Yeah.
But they're raw flash drive. They have no case. You have to make your own case.
Oh, yeah, that's no good.
And you have to solder the pins. No problem.
All right.
Hmm.
Mike is smart. That's why he's quiet.
I am, but what does that have to do with being quiet?
What is the quote that's attributed to Lincoln? It's better to be silent and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. I don't practice that. That's for sure.
I don't know.
All right, let's do
All right.
picks because I already did mine and Steve already did his. So Steve, why don't you just recap yours real quick again, and then I'll redo mine.
Sure. If you've got a touch screen and you're on Windows 10, if you swipe in from the right, I mean, it might even work with laptops if you swipe in from the right of the mouse pad. It used to on my Lenovo, although it doesn't for some reason now, which is fine. I probably broke it. I didn't like it anyway. But if you swipe in from the right, you've got an action center, which brings up any notifications which you might have, and you can easily switch from tablet mode to desktop mode. And there's loads of other settings there. All settings is you can go into Note. You can check your Bluetooth, your location, switch it from flight mode on or off, and it gives you indication of which network you're connected to. And you can even set quiet hours and look at your brightness that your screen's set to. So it's a very useful swipe from the right to find out all sorts of adjustments that you can make on little tiles. Very useful.
Yeah, and if you're in, I think you're talking about the action center.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's why I said action center just now.
Oh, is that what you said? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I was typing.
That's right.
Yeah, and if you're on Windows 10, the desktop version, you click the little icon next to the clock, in the task tray, and that brings that up as well. So, yeah, it's nice. It's very useful on a laptop, not so much on a desktop.
No.
All right. So again, real quick, my pick is, let me get the exact name, is the Aomi Partition Assistant Standard Edition, and I guess the real important thing with this is it's not a free trial. It's the full standard edition of this software. So it allows you to do most things with just the regular standard version. If you need to do some more advanced things, you can go and buy the professional version. But the standard version is free, and it will work forever. And it'll do stuff like cloning the drive, being able to clone a drive, make a bootable CD, migrate your OS to an SSD, partition management and stuff like that. So that's Aomi Partition Assistant Standard. That's a pick. That's a wood pick for me, because remember, we're doing picks or not picks now. So this is definitely a pick.
And I have actually a procedural pick for today. I mentioned earlier about doing the anniversary update for Windows 10. And unfortunately, for those of you who are users of Classic Shell, it will break Classic Shell unless you are at version 4.3. The little background is that after 4.3 came out for a brief time on August 2nd, the installer was corrupted. Somebody hacked into his download service. This is Bletchev, the guy who writes the software, and he fixed the problem. He's updated it, the site. But those of you who download to verify, and he has this in instructions on his page, when you download the installer, version 4.3, right-click on the file and check the digital signature to make sure his name is listed, and the timestamp is at least July 30th, 2016. That way you'll get a good clean copy. The bogus copy, he had no name, no signer name. So those of you who like Classic Shell, great software for transitioning or you're expanding the menu system on the interface on Windows 10. So a procedural pick today.
Awesome. Mike, what do you got for us?
I've got a soft pick, and what a soft pick is, in my interpretation, is something that I've purchased based on the advertising, but I cannot positively confirm that it works. But I'm pretty confident in it. For better or for worse, my wife has a Note 4, a phone, and when she got it, it came with a Samsung wall charger. Of course, we've got about 100 others around the house. One thing led to the next, and from one time to the next, she would use the one that came with it, and then she would use another one that happened to be close to where she was sitting. We noticed that the one that came with it charged it much more quickly than the others did. Well, at first I thought, well, that's fine. These chargers, these power supplies, they just don't have the power capability of the one that came with it. It must require a lot. As I understand it, the maximum charge current you're supposed to get out of a USB port is 2 amps. That's considered a high power port, and this is not what I know. This is what I think. I did some research, and I found a charger for the car, and what was interesting is that it's specifically for the iPhone, iPad, Galaxy S7, S6, Edge Plus, Note 4, Note 5, LG, and Nexus, and more. And what's interesting about it is these devices have what's called the Qualcomm Quick Charge 2.0 system. It's a Power Drive Plus 2 is a system. It's a charging system that charges up to 75% faster than just a standard charger. It says it's possible to get up to 8 hours use from 15 minutes of charging. Well, that's a little puffy because the phone won't work 8 hours with 150 minutes of charging. But so it's Anker's fast charging technology. Both ports have this chip in there, this Qualcomm chip, to allow it to charge quicker. And the good news is that even if your phone or device does not have the chip in it, the ports charge up to 2.4 amps per port, which JOMCTY says is the maximum for those. So apparently it will charge up to the maximum charging current. And again, we haven't tested it yet, but it's going to stay in her car. And theoretically, if she forgets to charge her phone overnight, she should be able to plug her phone in just to the drive to work and have a lot of use out of it. Unbeknownst to us, because her phone is in a case, we didn't realize it, but you can actually get a spare battery and you can change the battery in the darn thing.
Yeah, the quick charge on Android is one of the killer features that they have over iOS, because that advertisement, the 75% in 15 minutes, is not a marketing ploy. It's really that comparable. You can really charge. Your phone will get really hot, but it'll charge that sucker up really quick. It's one of the really killer features of some of those Samsung phones.
And it's expensive, but again, if you feel like your phone's just not charging quickly enough, then you might want to try one of those.
I mean, you can go from 0 to 50 in 10 or 15 minutes, which is fantastic if your phone is dead and you need it. So, cool. Amnon?
Can't you just plug it into 120 instead of 5 volts? Doesn't that charge it faster?
Sure, you can do that.
Yeah,
No,
flash charge.
That'll change time.
So, by the way, unrelated, have you guys seen this? Now I'm going to forget the name of the darn thing. I believe it's on Netflix. It's called Airplane Disasters or Airport Disasters.
Yep. I would not recommend.
I do
Scary.
recommend it.
No, do not recommend if you're
Highly recommend it.
No, definitely not. You're paranoid.
It was recommended to me by a frequent traveler, and I asked him, I said, why would you watch that if you're going to be flying? He said, I feel like it's better informed than not informed.
Nope, would rather be uninformed. I watched one episode and I was terrified. Not good.
Yeah, there's that, and Air Disasters is the other show that's.
That may be the name of it.
Yeah, I think that's what it's
Yeah.
called.
But the one for Tenerife, the Canary Islands, that's probably the most frightening one, because that was just utter negligence caused that. It wasn't a mechanical problem with the plane; it was just stupid piloting.
Well, I started watching this about 3 years ago, and I stopped watching it because they started spoon feeding episodes, and they might have one or two here. But then I haven't watched Netflix in 6 months, but I've got a back problem, and so I was laying in bed with an ice pack, and I powered it up, and I said, well, let's see what's here, see if they ever add any more, and they've added the full season 2, which is 11 episodes.
Nice.
And I'm up through about episode 7 already. I got to tell you that it's more often than not it's negligence. But what is interesting, what is reassuring, is how much time, energy, and money go into finding every single problem that happens, and that will reassure you that you're a lot safer after an accident than you are before. What was really interesting, the one I watched in the second season, was Korean Airlines 007. Remember that one?
That's the one that was short of the runway in Los Angeles?
Nope, it's one that was shot down by the Russians.
Oh, right, over Kamchatka Peninsula. Yeah.
Yep. They go through the whole
right.
thing. And they even have an interview, or a recent interview in 2009, with the guy who shot it down.
Cool.
It's fascinating.
All right, Amnon, what do you got for us?
Oh, sorry, I forgot about him.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I don't have anything technical, but I've got
He didn't
something.
have anything anyway, Mike, so it's fine.
But I've got something that Nick is going to salivate over that I want to tell you that I got. And
what? Okay. Please don't be this. I think I already know what it is.
You know how I am with military vehicles and restoring them and going and participate in ceremonies and all that. And, the natural progression from then on had to be this.
I knew it.
He knew it.
Gotta call it from a mile away. It's wonderful. It's my iPhone wallpaper, actually.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's my iPhone background.
You can get these on Amazon for some like $20. And
that's your pick of the week.
That's my pick of the week.
I got one of those. I got a similar shirt like that this week as well. Okay, so thank you, Amnon. That's a really good pick. I'm sure a lot of our audience is gonna go pick that up. So
Some
I
may
thought,
some may not come back next week, but that's
Is the
okay.
video frozen on the stream?
No.
No.
Why is it frozen here?
maybe
I've
it's your
checked on-
maybe your internet's not fast enough. That's probably
Maybe
what.
that's what it is. I'm looking at Stream Me. I go to CC, whatever that is.
ConnectCast. That's the main one.
Hmm.
And I know that works because that's the one I
Yeah, I'm watching on that as well. I believe.
monitor.
I
That's
don't know
the
why
default.
mine's not working.
Everything is frozen for you?
Yeah, well, if I refresh, then it brings up a new picture, but the picture's frozen.
Uh-oh.
What row?
Must be Windows 10.
Probably.
You were going to say, Nick?
So I bought a Mike. I don't know. You might be interested in one of these on Amazon. I bought a $15 on-air light. They never used to sell these things. The only ones you used to be able to get were the ones that are $100 or $200. And for the hell of it, I was searching around on Amazon and I found just a small little wooden on-air light with some LEDs. It's battery powered, 2 AA's. And I'm wondering how I can rig up some kind of switch or remote or something to this. I know, Amnon, you've kind of played around with kind of jerry-rigging stuff that doesn't have power supplies. What would you recommend for trying to get this?
What are
Do
you...
they sell wireless? Do they sell batteries that you can turn off with a controller? Is that a thing?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
All the
It's a light that's got that needs 2 AA's to be powered, and I want some kind of external switch or button to turn it on or off because the switch is going to be outside and I want the switch inside.
And you're going to use batteries?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to.
Because if you were not going to use batteries, then you can use any type of light switch or light outlet controller like that Zap that we were talking about here, or any
Actually,
of
I
those.
need to use batteries because it's going to be hang on the outside of a door. I won't be able to run power to it.
Not that I'm aware of, but I can look up.
Yeah, I'd be interested if anybody. I had somebody email me last week. So if you go to CraigDigitalDesigns.com and click the contact form if you need to get in touch with me, that's a good email.
So you want something that you would have a remote control in your hand?
A remote control or a switch. I'm fine with a switch that if I had a little button that was across the room. But
well, I mean, you can always put a switch that's wired.
Okay, how would you recommend doing a wired switch?
Just cut the connector somewhere. Like you can even plug in a piece of plastic with.
What do you mean cut the connector?
Here, let me explain. You can take a piece of plastic, like a piece of a credit card.
Okay.
Stick aluminum foil to both ends of it.
Okay.
But they don't touch each other.
Yep.
And then you need to somehow, I would probably glue it to it, put wires on it. Now, if you stick that in between the battery and the terminal in the light, it's not going to work because you broke the connection of the battery, right? If you stick it under let's say the minus on one side. So then if you connect those two pieces of aluminum, or better yet, piece of metal, little thin metal, then you make the connection. So if
I think Mike's got something. Mike, what is Amnon recommending me to burn down my house?
No,
Mike is
come on, with batteries?
Mike's an electrical engineer, and he is shaking his head.
No, I think Amnon's got it. Just make sure you use the foil out of a cigarette pack. That's particularly the best kind that you can use for.
I'm not buying the $15 pack of cigarettes in New York State.
Okay, then never mind. Then use from a gum wrapper.
Okay.
Something
What would
that
you
you can,
recommend, Mike?
something that you could actually twist, because you cannot solder to aluminum.
But
So
here's the question: you look at the battery holder in the device. Does
I
it
don't
have
even have
wires
that.
going from the battery holder
right, that's
to the unit?
I'll have to update you next week. I just ordered it. I don't have it yet.
Yeah,
it runs on 2 AA.
What you would do is cut the wire and put
Yeah.
a switch in series with it.
Yeah, I would assume it's a little wooden switch. It would be ideal if there was just 2 wires running out of the battery pack, because then I could do whatever I wanted to with it. But I'm preparing for there not to be. But there very well may be.
If it's all on a circuit board, for example, you will have to cut a trace on the circuit board and then put the switch across the trace.
No thanks.
Well, it's nothing to it.
It's not that
Just
complicated,
with a Dremel tool or a knife or something. You just have to be careful.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'll
Nick,
just
you're
put the-
you're not gonna burn your house down with
No, it was-
2
I know,
double
I
A
was-
batteries.
I- I was joking.
Wait.
I was joking.
You're
I
not
did
gonna
know.
burn the house with 2 double A batteries unless you wrap them in steel wool.
Is it possible? What if I keep lighter fluid on top of the sign? Would that
Yeah,
be
there you go.
safe?
But the reason, the joke about the tinfoil is back in the old days, a lot of people smoked, so they always had tinfoil out of
Yep.
the cigarette pack, and a piece of equipment, a fuse would blow because it had a defective transformer,
Right.
defective tube, defective transistor, and these idiots would take the fuse out and wrap it in tinfoil out
Yep.
of the cigarette pack and put it back in and set the piece of equipment on fire.
Yep.
Nice.
But you can actually, and you have it at home, aluminum foil. You can
Yeah, I have
take and
aluminum.
cut it in a strip, a thin strip that you can take the end of it and twist to a wire, and then insulate the whole thing except the very last 1/4 inch, and stick it to a piece of plastic, and that would serve as a switch from both ends. I mean, yeah, there are different ways to do it, but that's
Yeah.
the wire. What Mike said, the wiring. If there are wires, then that will be the easiest.
I would like to think there is, but I'm not sure. But this is a cheap. I really when I
And what are you going to accomplish with this?
so about just to have it outside the door, because every once in a while I'm recording something and I don't want to be. bothered.
Okay.
But let's say like 3 years ago, when I first started doing this stuff, the only LED sign, the only on-air lights you could buy were, $50, $60, $70, up to $200 or $300. So I actually made one of these, which is just one of these little push lights.
Yeah.
And then I, put stencils on it, and spray painted it. But this has since fallen apart and broken. But this is $15.
What do you mean
and,
it's falling apart and broken?
The batteries got all corroded inside.
Never
of
mind
it,
the
and-
batteries. Turn it over. That's the best thing. Right there. You need a 6 volt.
Yeah, I'm not using this. This one's a piece of junk. I'm not using this. So
Okay.
I got an actual sign that's gonna light up. This
Yeah.
was a really good. This was a very cheap.
Yeah. I mean,
DIY project, but this light was $15. So,
Did you post a link to it?
I did, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I think Mike's probably got the same experience. These signs were always crazy expensive, and somebody's now making a very cheap little wooden sign, which is cool.
I
It's got-
made it
it's
out
a-
of cardboard box. And I
with what,
cut
light-
and I
with a light bulb.
And
yeah,
duct tape.
and I cut the letters on air,
Yeah.
and it uses a little transformer. I mean, a little break to the wall, and I turn it off and on with that.
Yeah, it looks like it's got about 10 LEDs, Mike.
That's
How
nice.
can you tell?
Looking at the picture, there's heat spots, and there's 5 on the top and 5 on the bottom.
Does it say it's
Yeah.
LED, or do you know,
yeah.
or is it bulbs?
No, it's definitely LED lights for sure.
That is
So it doesn't light from behind. It lights the frame up in front. It's not a true backlit on air light, but
What were you saying, Steve?
I was going to say that is so exactly what I'm looking for. The unfortunate thing is the dog can't read.
Darn him.
yeah.
Well, I
I
noticed-
can't help you with that.
This one has a California Proposition 65 warning, so don't eat it.
Oh, that's too late. I already ate it.
I wish I knew that a week ago.
Yeah, so we'll see. It says just use 2 AA batteries. So we'll I think I'll have it midweek. So we'll check it out next week.
Looks good for that price.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work, I can throw it away. Very simple.
Well, what you're going to want to do is replace the batteries with a 3-volt power supply.
Yeah, I gotta figure out how to get power to it though. That's the only issue. There's no outlets near the door, but I could figure something like that out.
You can run it all the way from inside. I mean, it's 3 volts. There's
low
nothing
voltage.
to it. What?
No, I'm just saying there's no outlet near the door, so
Right.
I'm yeah, I don't know where I'd plug it in. I don't have a free outlet over by the door. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
But-
that is nice.
Yeah, so I'll have it Wednesday. I'll report back next week with the result.
We got exactly the same one in the UK on Amazon.co.uk, and it's £19.
So that's what, $25,
Yeah.
something like that.
For the same
Standard.
for the
Yeah,
same
but it comes with free healthcare.
Oh,
Yeah,
shush.
You always gotta factor that into the price.
Yeah.
919.
Which is even better. Sorry, go on.
Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
I say we're not part of the EU now, which makes it even better, or is that worse? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Well, things only change for the better.
So Comcast believes it should be able to charge its broadband users who want to protect their privacy. The FCC, on the other hand, indicated that such practices should not be there. In a new filing with the FCC, Comcast said that charging consumers more money to opt out of snoopvertising should be considered a perfectly acceptable business model. So if you don't want to be snooped at by Comcast, pay more. Hooray to Comcast. Now,
Was it something we said?
was
Have
it
you
some?
looked Have you looked at the Hangout screen?
Yeah, I know. Everybody left.
What's going on?
Oh, yeah. I mean, those of you that don't know what we're talking about here, look at Mike, look at Nick, and look at Spence.
We've been
Interesting.
deserted.
Yeah. But here is an interesting article about passwords. And you know how we're always talking about change your password and so forth. So this is a pretty long article, but I'll try to shorten it every now and then. Though changing passwords often might seem like a good security practice, in reality, it isn't the case, says Carnegie Mellon University professor Lori Cranor. When the Federal Trade Commission tweeted that people should encourage their loved ones to change passwords often, Cranor wasted no time challenging it. From Ars Technica story, it says the reasoning behind the advice of changing password often is that an organization's network may have attackers inside who have yet to be discovered. Frequent password changes lock them out. But to a university professor who focuses on security, Cranor found the advice problematic for a couple of reasons. For one, a growing body of research suggests that frequent password changes make security worse, as if repeating advice that based more on superstition than hard data wasn't bad enough. The tweet has even more annoying because of 6 of the government passwords she used had to be changed every 60 days. And there are some services that requires you to do that. I saw this tweet and I said, she's writing, why is that the FTC is going around telling everyone to change their passwords? She said during a keynote speech at the B-Sides Security Conference in Las Vegas, I went to the social media people and asked them that, and they said, well, it must be good advice because at the FTC, we change our password every 60 days. She eventually approached the chief information officer and the chief information security officer for the FTC, told them what a growing number of security experts have come to believe. Frequent password changes do little to improve security and very possible make security worse by encouraging the use of passwords that are more susceptible to cracking. The CIO asked the research that supported this contrarian view, and Cranor was happy to provide it. The most on-point data comes from a study published in 2010 by researchers from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I mean, if you have to change your passwords every, let's say, 30 days, every 15 days, it'll get to the point where you're going to use easy passwords unless the system on the other side requires you to use a good, strong password. But if you, the other thing that I see a problematic with this is if you already have a keylogger on your computer and you change the password for your Gmail and for your bank, they are at that point, maybe they don't have the password for your bank. Maybe they don't have the password for your Gmail or for other places. Now at this point, the keylogger does have it because you type it. I don't know how many of you are aware of the fact that I learned some years ago that if you cut and paste the password into the field instead of actually typing it every time, it's more secure because keyloggers don't see that. Keyloggers wait for you to hit a key, and that's what they're logging. So actually, if you save some passwords in your Chrome or in your Firefox and it remembers them, a keylogger cannot detect those passwords. So now, if there is something like this on the computer and you change the password, you're going to have to type it. And that could be a problem. So I see where it is, but without the mechanism that's built there to force you into strong passwords, it's all worthless. You can change it all day long. If you go from quote unquote password to password 1 and password 2 and password, you're not doing any good. Yeah, you're changing your password, but it doesn't do any good. So yeah, this is from our neck of the wood at UNC at Chapel Hill. So where did everybody leave? Where did you guys go?
I'm still here. What do you mean?
Suddenly, Spence, Nick, and Mike were gone, and
we all got the message to go. You didn't send us a text message.
You're having something else. Okay.
Somebody hacked in and said, you guys all need to get up at the same time.
Somebody
Right.
hacked it, yeah.
Right. I want Mike to come back for this story. But here's something else. We were talking earlier, Spence, you were mentioning a 3D printer. Police in Michigan have a new tool for unlocking phones. 3D printing, according to a new report from Flash Forward creator Rose Eveleth, law enforcement officers approached professors at the University of Michigan earlier this year to reproduce a murder victim's fingerprint from a pre-recorded scan. Once created, the 3D model would be used to create a false fingerprint, which could be used to unlock the phone. Interesting. Look how easy it would be, if you have, especially if it's a known criminal and you have their fingerprints, you can do it. But of course, you have to have their phone. Because the investigation is ongoing, details are limited and it's unclear whether the technique will be successful. Still, it's similar to technique researchers have used in the past to recreate working fingerprint molds from scanned images, often in coordination with law enforcement. This may be the first confirmed case of police using the technique to unlock a phone in an active investigation. Apple has recently changed the way iOS manages fingerprint logins. You are now required to input an additional passcode if your phone hasn't been touched for 8 hours and the passcode hasn't been entered in the past 6 days. So there are different ways of doing it. Anything? Anybody else wants to get in on anything?
Nope.
Come on. No.
I would
Okay.
if I had the chance, but unfortunately the dog's playing with a squeaky dog. It's typical. Now I've managed to get a sentence out. She's not squeaked it once. She's having fun.
I hear it. My daughter's dog has more toys than I know. It's just crazy how many toys the dog has. But there's a couple of favorite ones that just don't get destroyed. The cloth ones get shredded, but the rubber ones, she'll walk over to it and she won't even bite it. She'll just push it with her nose to make it squeak, and just keep doing that.
Yeah, that's what she keeps doing, and she doesn't seem to realise that it squeaks on the outward thing as well. So when it's like inflating, doesn't she realise that it's deflated and that now it's going to inflate itself? Oi, get a quiet toy for goodness sake.
Hey, Mike. Mike is muted. He's eating. And he's not listening either. Are you listening, Mike?
I am.
Nod.
Oh.
Just nod.
Yes.
Okay. A cocktail bar owner has installed a Faraday cage in his walls to prevent mobile phone signals entering the building. Steve Tyler of the Gin Tub in Hove, East Sussex, is hoping customers will be encouraged to talk to each other rather than looking at their screens. He has installed metal mesh in the walls and ceiling of the bar, which absorbs the distributes the electromagnetic signals from phones and wireless devices to prevent them entering the interior of the building. The effect was discovered in 1936 by scientist Michael Faraday and is often used in power plants and other places. So we know what a Faraday cage is. But that's interesting. So I guess in the UK, Steve, it is legal to block cell phones?
It's legal in the U.S.
No, it's not.
You can't jam them.
You can. That's what I mean. I'm talking about jamming.
Radiate.
Yep. If it's passive, you can block it. Absolutely.
I'm not 100% sure actually. I know there was some controversy about. I think it was a store that was blocking or blanking the signals, and I think there was some controversy about it, but I don't remember the details.
So, Mike, are you saying you can block it with something like this cage, but you are not allowed to jam them?
Correct.
Which the end result is the same, right?
No.
No, a jam is you radiating a signal that's so strong that the cell phone signal gets weakened.
Right.
This is just passive. You're not really disrupting the signal. You're just blocking it from entering. You're not modifying a signal or broadcasting anything. You're just passively.
I understand the difference between the two different ways, but really the end result is you can't use your phone. Either way.
Well, that's right.
That's
but you
interesting.
can go into basements. You can go into all sorts of buildings where your phone doesn't work. So,
right.
I mean, that's the way to do it. If you don't want anybody using it in your area, I mean, you could even, for example, have a concert hall or something where they employ that technology because they would not want anyone interfering with their wireless microphones and that sort of thing.
I seem to remember reading something somewhere where a cinema owner blocked the cell phone signals so that people couldn't use their cell phones. and there was a public outcry because if there was an emergency, they wouldn't be able to dial
I thought I was just
911.
gonna say, God forbid somebody walks into that place with a gun or something. Good luck getting anything out.
Mhm.
There's a technology that they use in Japan where if you go to a large venue like a stadium or something like that, they have essentially a captive portal for cell phone signals where you have to go through their system, and it will forward it most of the time. But if they want to block it, they can. So if there was an emergency, they could shut that system down and allow access. Essentially it captures it's like those in-house repeaters that you have for cell
Right.
phone signals.
Mhm.
Just so it increases your signal strength. It's the same idea, just on steroids, where you manage the access. I mean, you still get into all kinds of legal issues, but
Well,
I
I
think
just
you should just have everybody drop their cell phone in a big basket when they enter the building, and just get it on the way out.
yeah,
Good
that's
luck
what
trying to figure out which iPhone 6 is yours.
Oh no, it's
that's.
just whoever gets there first gets the best phone.
I mean, this practice exists right here in Raleigh at the courthouse.
Yeah, we have to. Could they confiscate stuff, or if you're
It's not confiscating. Put it in the box. Get in. When you come out, you take it out.
Yeah, that's
They tell
not a
you
bad
not
idea
to.
for a courtroom.
They tell you not to bring it with you, but if you did, that's what happens. So a lot of people say, "I'm going to go and put it back in the car," because Steve is right. I mean,
How stupid are you if they tell you not to bring it?
I
and then
know,
you bring
I
it?
know.
I mean,
Hmm.
Unfortunately, there are some people that are stupid.
unfortunately,
Oh,
so.
boy.
There's plenty.
Hmm.
so what else?
Well, I've been actually looking this morning at all-in-ones, and I did find one I think that is going to fit the bill here, and I'm very happy with the price too. Did you know now that the Pentiums are now quad, the new Pentiums? According
I
to
didn't
the
know.
What were
Yeah.
they?
according to the designated, according to what I'm reading here, at least I have to go back and check it, the actual processor number, but it says Pentium model number, this quad core,
I didn't know
which I
that.
was not aware of. So that's interesting. Not that it doesn't have to be a quad, but
Oh, so you mean any of the Pentiums? I mean the
no,
model of
only
just
the newer model
just the P
Pentium that
just a P4 could be a quad
well,
core.
the new Intel Pentium processor, the newer
Okay.
model.
Yeah, so
Let's
it's
see if I can find the details. I'm
so
looking
like
at,
an i3. I mean, it's different than Pentium. Pentium,
yeah,
when we
i3
look,
is different architecture, different die. It's i3 is a dual core with each core has 2 virtual processors.
right,
So it's not a true quad.
Core 2 Duo.
Yes, like that. Yeah.
My old I had some experience this week with the dreaded HDCP, which I
Uh-oh.
didn't realize I was going to. My old monitor was a 40-inch monitor which had DVI input and then a separate audio input. So I thought, well, I'm going to give Amazon Prime a try. So if I get a HDMI to DVI converter and a Roku and a couple of cables, then I should be able to plug it in. And it all looked like it was working fine. Oh, you've got the other squeaky toy, you nuisance. It was working great on a TV I got upstairs, which has got HDMI, but when you try and put it into DVI, it was working okay as far as the Roku was working. As soon as I signed into Amazon Prime and tried to run a video back, it came up and said HDCP unauthorized device.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't play. And I was like, "Grr," and I thought I'd got around it somehow.
You know, I'm wondering if your problem with the TV is the same problem.
Well, no, because it's give me that squeaky toy now. That's it. You haven't got any squeaky toys left. No, because it's mirroring, and it definitely says mirroring on Windows 10. It's got is it DLNA?
Yeah, DNLA compliance.
Yeah, it's got that as well, but I don't know whether the Surface is whatever
It
DNLA.
probably is, but no, the mirroring. The mirroring is, since it's not over, HDCP is pretty much an HDMI technology. Mirroring like a
Right.
Chromecast doesn't carry HDCP. But Steve, that's the issue. Even this used to be an issue on the Xbox 360. You could plug your Xbox 360 into a capture card,
Yeah.
and you could record a video game. At the second you open the Netflix app, it says HDCP error, because it doesn't want you to obviously record a show off Netflix and make it available for a torrent or something like that.
Yeah, I thought that by converting it from HDMI to DVI, it would basically hit a block and just go, well, that's okay. It's now DVI anyway, but
They're both
unfortunately,
digital.
no.
That's the issue. So what you could do is first either get one of those splitters that strips HDCP, or second, go see if you can get an HDMI to composite converter, because composite is analog and it will not be able to carry that HDCP.
Or go down to a VGA.
Yeah, VGA won't be HD though.
No. But I thought I'd gotten around it, but unfortunately I hadn't, so I've had to send the Roku back.
Now, what you may be able to do is find certain manufacturers. You just have to look at the Amazon reviews, but certain manufacturers are making cables that are not up to HDMI standard, that do strip HDCP. They're not supposed to be, but they strip HDCP. Like this converter box I have, it's not like a feature of the box, but that's part of the. There's plenty of reviews saying, yeah, if you want to record, your Xbox gameplay, use this thing because it'll strip, it strips HDCP. So you may be able to find a cable that doesn't pass it.
Right. I did have a look, and lots of the reviews for various sort of switch boxes and cables and things like that. And I thought I'd selected one that was going to fit the bill, but unfortunately it didn't. But now I've got the new TV. It's got Amazon Prime or Amazon Video on that, so I can get it through that.
What kind of TV did you get?
In the end, I got a Panasonic. What was it? TX. Oh, I can't read it from here. TX. Oh, darn it. TX49 DX600.
How big is it?
49-inch.
And it's got the smart stuff built into it?
It's got actually Firefox OS.
Oh, really? Huh.
And to be honest, looking at it now and having experience of messing around with it a bit, I would have preferred to have gone with a Sony with Android.
All of these smart TVs, I've yet to talk to a single person or see a single TV that the built-in smart is worth a damn.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not. It's so sluggish and slow and.
Actually, this isn't. This is a quad core, and it's really fast. I was amazed at how fast it is switching from function to function.
That's great.
It's got a web browser built in as well, which is Firefox basically.
Huh.
But the apps I'm not interested in. The games I'm not interested in. I'm hoping that there's going to be more apps available, but thinking on it now, on reflection, it would have been better to go with Sony and the Android, because you can put whatever app you like on the Android.
Oh.
Whereas you're limited with Firefox OS, what apps are available.
Yeah, we have a few Vizio TVs, and the smart function on that, you press the Netflix button, man, it takes like 30 seconds for it to pop up. It's practically useless.
This has got a Netflix button on it, but I haven't got Netflix. I'm trying the free Amazon Prime trial for 30 days. Cool. But you hit the Netflix button and it's there within 3 seconds.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, Netflix is great. I know most of the people here have it, but I haven't used it in forever. They cycle shows and movies through so quick that I haven't watched anything good. The only thing I watch on Amazon is House of Cards.
Well, on Amazon, I looked at science fiction.
Sorry.
I looked at science fiction as the first thing. I thought, well, I'll look and see what's there. And I've been watching Extant. It's series 1 I've watched already, and I'm already on, I think, episode 3 of series 2. And it's brilliant. It really is good. If you like science fiction, Extant is a great.
Uh-oh. Steve?
Like we lost Steve.
We can't hear you. There you are.
Still here? Yeah, it's a wireless connection with this. I'm gonna have to get a network connection for USB on here.
All right. Well, anyway, it's time. It's time. But Nick, go ahead and finish.
No, I'm all set.
Oh. All right. Anything else anybody has to add here before we call it a day?
Not here.
I hope Google fixes the problem with my picture not showing up.
Yeah, we'll see.
I would call Google right now and they'll get on it for you.
Mm-hmm. Again, it may all have to do with the new Chrome here. Nick, I don't want you to go because I want you to tell me how to fix it to the old one and see if that makes a difference. Steve, if you don't need to go, hang
Well, it's
around.
not the old one. You're not going to the old one.
Well, I mean, but it will allow me to make it smaller, right?
No.
All right, we'll talk about it afterwards. All right. So thanks, guys. It was fun.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Get 'em back.
And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Today at 12 o'clock, it's the Gisela show, and at 8 o'clock, it is Tanya Love. See you, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, My Life, My Will with Gisela DiCarlo, The Tanya Love Show, Health Then with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Triangle Be Well with Howard Jacobson, Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Yisrael Cutler, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Current Affairs with Amnon Nissan. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.